Miriam, good morning. How are you?
I'm really good, thanks. Just been for a lovely swim.
Oh, brilliant. What was it, swimming in your own swimming pool at home, or did you go out?
No, it's still too cold. In November it's pretty good here at home, but just local pools, and they're a little bit heated,
Mm,
and yeah, just wonderful, just
yeah,
lovely.
excellent. Excellent. I hate swimming. I try and avoid it as much as I can, which is kind of funny because I am raising money now for a swimathon, so I have to go swimming at the end of the month.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Where
yes.
are you going to do that? And
The pool's in Albany, but I'm doing my best to try and convert, or not convince the person that's organizing it to let me run instead of going swimming. But we'll see if that works.
that's the same one as Tanya is doing that
Yes,
for my,
that's right.
yeah,
That's
for
right.
Starship. Mm.
Mm, yes, yeah, and that's a good segue, by the way, from talking about Starship and kids to what you do, because
Mm.
you're helping with kids and babies as well. So you've been over the last 30 years, you've been running quite a successful business with a very unique product that helps to save the lives of babies and protect them from injuries. Safety sleep.
Hmm.
How how did it all start? Where did it all the idea come from?
Well, really, when I was about 17 years old and nursed a little 10 and a half month old, beautiful looking little boy
Mm,
who had climbed and fallen out of a cot and sustained serious permanent brain damage. And years later, I learned that, well, I experienced my own son trying to climb. If I'd been 2 minutes later, he would have been over the side. That
mm,
led me to ringing orthopaedic hospitals where I used to nurse and ACC and various other epidemiologists. And yes, statistical data showed subsequently in about 5, 6 of the developed world, um, that's a significant number of babies that are admitted to hospital every year from falls,
wow.
are from falls from cots and beds. And I had a neighbour whose baby used to be so strong and would stand and almost rock the cot. And then I had another niece that fell out,
Mm,
or fell off a couch, and
mm,
another little baby from a friend who fell off a big bed in a motel. She only just turned around to grab something and just lifted her hand slightly above the baby. Yeah. So anyway, it was all those things, and
mm,
I thought, no, something is necessary here, and started playing around. And 4 or 5 other mums were playing around with bits of fabric as well. And the only difference with mine was is that I kept it very, very simple because my primary objective was to make sure that my baby was not unduly restricted, that he
mm,
was comfortable, but that I just had a few extra moments to get to him when he was in that climbing stage.
yeah.
And yeah, it was just something that was uppermost in my mind of who waits for something to happen, when you've nursed them at the other end
Mm,
and you've got all these other people in your life who are experiencing different sorts of issues, even with babies creeping in the middle of the night and ending up with their heads up hard in a corner of a cot or their arms or
mm.
legs poking through. And yeah, so there was definitely a need, and that's how it all started. Mm.
Yeah. So you saw a need, and then you felt that it's something that you really have to do something about, and started working through it.
Yeah, and several people, like after having made 35 of them for my nursing colleagues and midwifery friends, and got to number 35, and I thought, this is nuts, like. And then my neighbour said to me, "You have to put this thing on the market. You
Mm,
have to." And I said, "No." I said, "No, I don't know anything about business." And she said, "No, you're coming with me. We're going to go and see Dr. Shirley Tonkin." And she set up an appointment, and I thought, oh, good, because Shirley Tonkin was known to be a very strong and straightforward woman, and she'll tell me to chuck it out the window. But
yeah.
actually, she didn't. She smiled from ear to ear, and she said, "Oh," she said, "I think this could work, because this
Wow.
is, yeah, yeah." So, and that there started
Yeah.
another journey.
Right. From the idea to having it on the market, was there a lot of research that was done to make sure that it's something that is safe?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I felt a huge responsibility. It's a big difference making them for your own children and your
Mm,
friends than putting it on the market. So I thought that was really important. And Dr. Shirley Tonkin was a good place to start, of course. And she was the woman that set up the first ever in the world Cot Death Association, it was called then, which was set up to support grieving parents. And so we started and we put together, and oh gosh, I can't tell you, it was nearly 2 years of research of just getting questionnaires
yeah.
from 15 clinicians from different fields within the medical profession, and asked them all whether they thought something like this was needed, and if so, what questions did they think we had to ask. So we put all that together. The whole thing was very professionally orchestrated and independently orchestrated
Mm,
with members from the community, volunteers from Plunket, and some of the key medical people, including Dr. Shirley Tonkin, and they would come to my home and we would officially open them all. Anyway, the results were that yes, there was a need for something like this. And then a few years after that, I received a phone call from a craniofacial plastic surgery clinic at the hospital, local hospital. And that doctor, Tristan de Chalain, asked me if he could get ethical approval to do a professional clinical trial, an
mm,
independent one.
mhm.
So, of course, I said yes. And that was wonderful. And he's quite surprised that things are still, quite a challenge at times, but I like challenge, so that's all good.
Yeah, brilliant. So a massive amount of research to learn and understand. So with that, you're starting a business. You have your own family that you're taking care of. What were some of the challenges that you faced when you started, and maybe still going, and some of the lessons that you learned from them?
I guess the biggest challenge really is looking after yourself,
Mm,
really, and then in business, um, not allowing myself to flinch from the continued changes in the landscape
mm,
and medical political issues and so on. And yeah, it's really staying strong and meeting those challenges, and then having good mentors and people to guide me, and my faith helps me a lot. And I've had a wonderful support from a lawyer called David Franklin, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And so you had the idea, you have done your research, you want to go onto the market, and you have the support. How did you raise money to start this? Because this is not just starting something small. It's really going out to the whole world.
Yeah, I know. It's funny because there's so many things that you have to think of all of a sudden, and you've still got 3 children. And anyway, from memory, there was a friend who loaned me some money, and also a well-known businessman who loaned me some money.
Mhm.
Um, and then a bank manager who let me have a reasonable overdraft because he trusted me
Mhm.
without any collateral, which was incredible. And then subsequently, I've had to add to the house mortgage depending on what challenge and crisis is out there at the time.
Mm.
And yeah, that's probably that's how I raised the first lot of money. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so you have been doing this for 30 years, and then it has been quite successful. Um, why have you been doing this? What do you enjoy about running your own business?
The reason why I'm doing it is because I know that there's a need out there that it's like some people like babies to have a dummy and other people don't like it, so they don't use it. This is something that I know. I don't just believe it. I know it's saved many, many parents a lot of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
It's helped babies to sleep longer and better, more restfully. It's prevented injuries, and I know it saved some lives. I absolutely know that from all the research and all the discussions with these top specialists that I've worked with.
Mm.
And then, of course, all the reviews and the testimonials that are on our website that we get, and we still get them 29 years later. That's why I do it. And what was your second part of the question? Why do I like being self-employed? Probably because I'm a free spirit and I like to be able to respond to a need when I see it, without being bound by a whole lot of mumbo jumbo political correctness stuff. Yeah.
Right. So being your own boss and doing whatever you want whenever you want it.
Yes, and I can go for a swim when I like, and a walk when I like, and go and have a coffee when I like, and then I just work extra hours at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, it's
with
great.
your business obviously is international, and you are working with a lot of retailers overseas and in New Zealand. Has COVID impacted it a little bit, or not so much?
Yes, some for good, some for not so good. The not so good first is that we've lost 98% of our Australian retail business and 10% of New Zealand. The good is that our current government, our Prime Minister, who actually came up to my car before Christmas last and congratulated me, and she said, "Oh, you're the lady that does that wrap thing that goes down." I said, "Yeah, that's me." And she said, "I've had 3 of those for little Neve." She said, "Wonderful product. Thank you so much." Wow.
Mm.
Anyway, so, but the government's been helping all small businesses and quite substantially. And we took up their offer of a couple of grants, which have allowed us to undertake new training for digital marketing, which I don't actually enjoy, if I'm honest with you. But, it's important to embrace challenge, really, and embrace change as normal. I think that's a healthy stance to have, because that's about the only thing that is for certain in life, is that there will be change and there will be challenges, and it's how we respond to those. So, well, the COVID thing is, the digital marketing is the new thing that's come out of it. So now our whole landscape, the model of, we will still be looking after and supporting and supplying our retailers that we have left. And a lot of them have now got their own websites, and they're also doing online selling. And we will need to have more interaction with people through social media.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I don't particularly prefer over personal contact, but it's what it is. And it's a new thing that we're learning. So that's a change, and it's probably a positive change, because we can perhaps reach more people this way. And it will take us, I would say, probably a good 2 years to come back to where we were. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the potential with this product is huge. Once we really get the recipe right, it's global. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's an easy product to ship overseas. That's the very lucky part of it too.
Yeah. So you are really shifting a lot from the traditional way of doing business, which is selling your product to retailers, to a lot more marketing through online, and people can buy directly from you.
Yeah, especially overseas. It's it makes it easy because we can get product to people in a couple of days. Or, well, we say within a week, and it usually works out, sometimes a couple of days. Yeah.
That's really, really interesting. So your website, safetysleep.com, the word safe, the letter T, and sleep.com, is that where the product is, and where people can go on to?
Yep. Yeah, and it's a mine of information. I've been called a marketer's dream. I had no idea I was that at all, because my background's nursing and education, and I'm just so passionate about evidence-based data and good data and anything. So, and very, I have a facilitation background as well. And all the FAQs, for example, on our website, they're all designed by mothers for mothers. And they're all questions that have evolved over the years. And believe it or not, we still get a new one every now and then. Yeah, we actually put a new one on the other day. Yeah, so it's a very live, active website where people can, get lots of information and help. Yeah.
Yeah. And are you also on social media, on Facebook and things like this?
Oh, yes. Thank you. Yes. My daughter, who's a Safety Sleep baby, along with my 2 sons and their 5 children. And she is now 31 and she runs the office. She does a fantastic job. Yeah. And she loved her Safety Sleep so much that she used to put it on herself when she was 3. And I thought, oh my God, she's going to be like that Peanuts cartoon, Linus, who drags a blanket around behind. I thought, gosh, she's going to take this thing to school. So I did pretend it was in the wash for about 3 weeks. And she'd say, where is it? Where is it? And I said, oh, it's still wet. And she said, well, put it in the sun, Mummy.
Yeah.
And I thought, so if you use this product wisely and correctly and with loving, nurturing parenting skills, it builds trust. And then it becomes like they're cuddly. And it's a wonderful asset for parents. Yeah. It's great for holidaying and on boats.
Yeah.
Last 2 lots of America's Cup families used it on their boats, their family boats.
Wow. Brilliant. Miriam, I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for it. Thank you for the information. Thank you for creating a product that saves lives and prevents injuries.
Thank you.
We'll have another chat in the near future.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll tell you all about the fact that it's a bed in a bag. Okay. Thank you.